The fan above my head squeaked and rotated slowly as I walked into my bedroom and closed the door. Sighing softly and thinking about the long day at work, I reached into my pocket and pulled out my keys, wallet, and phone to lay them on my bedside table. All this stress from work is getting to me, I thought, as I lie back onto my bed with my feet hanging off the edge and stretched my arms across the soft fabric of my bedspread. But even as I uttered those words, I smiled and closed my eyes, knowing what was in store for me now that I was home and able to relax. Like I did every night, I tried to focus on the sound of the squeaking fan over my head as I ignored the tiny itches that came over my body. Eventually, the squeak of the fan started to become more like a metronome than a source of annoyance, and its soft, constant beat relaxed me. Once again, I felt a weight on my chest, as if someone had just decided to sit on it, and my limbs started to go numb. Above me, the metronome fan became more distant, receding into the ceiling and echoing off the walls of my bedroom. I started to become less sure of where I was when I felt heat on my face, and light tried to push its way through my eyelids. I opened my eyes. That was a mistake. I instantly had to shield my face from the bright sunlight of the place I'd found myself in, wincing in pain. But after a few seconds, my eyes adjusted, and I could finally take in my surroundings. Upon looking up, I found an enormous rock face that stretched probably around 100 feet over my head. Falling from the top was a stunningly beautiful waterfall that made me gasp slightly as I caught sight of it. Little sparkles of light danced across the falling wall of water, almost impossibly bright, but somehow not in the least bit uncomfortable to look at. From my heightened position up on a hill, I could observe quite a bit of the woods below me, but as my eyes drew upwards to the horizon, analyzing the landscape became the last thing on my mind. Clear on the other side of the wood, up at the top of a hill, sat the largest oak I had ever seen. It reached high into the sky, exerting its utter dominance on the trees and the wood below it, but by the way it stood, its branches so full of leaves and life and reaching outward more than upward. This dominance did not come off as tyrannical, but more like a mother looking over its children with all the care and love that a mother should have. As I stood up, wind suddenly blew against my face, startling me. I shielded my face from the force, but lowered my guard when I didn't hear howls come to my ears, but whispers. Whispers that urged me forward. I suddenly had the intense urge to approach that tree. Starting to walk, I lowered myself down the hill and set off in the direction of the radiant oak. While walking through the forest, I noticed birds were chirping in the trees around me, the first sign of mobile life that I had seen since I ended up here. The birds seemed to grow a little louder the further I walked, urging me to pick up my pace to get to the tree. The wind hit me again, whispering in my ears a little louder than last time. I broke into a light jog. The tree was straight ahead now. I could see it just ahead through a small break in the woods, and I urged my feet forward when I noticed the radiant light dimming from that hole. I was sprinting now. The forest blurred at the corners of my vision, as the thought of losing my chance of seeing the tree up close pushed me into an all-out dash towards the exit. Just a few more feet. 20, 10, 5, and finally, just as I pushed myself through the last branches, I opened my eyes and saw the fan rotating above my head again. I was back in my room, with my covers over my body and my limbs splayed out at a comfortable distance.